Hey everybody! Good news, well, neutral news maybe. I have come up with a name for this channel. It's going to be called Conwatch. Now, this means I'm not necessarily saying that everybody I feature on this channel or that I talk about on this channel is running a con. I'm just watching for it. So I will make sure that everything I say is my opinion, and I will back it up with facts, with examples, with evidence. But yeah, I'm watching out for people who are using religion to con other people out of their money. So that being said, what we have here is some mail from a certain Joel Osteen Ministries, Lakewood Church. You might remember my video where I signed up for this. Actually, I didn't sign up for it on the video. I just, mentioned that I might. And yeah, I donated $1, and this is what I got. So let's open this thing. This is a bookazine and something else. So let's open this up. All right. You know what? This looks worth $1. I think this might be the bookazine. An abundant life. Walk into God's blessings. Wow. Okay, and what else do we have here? We have Live the Abundant Life digital download. So you go to joelosteen.com/life and you can download that. And is that it? We got this bit of mail here that shows my my address here, so I'm not going to do that. Oh, I could return it. Fair market value of goods is $8. Let's go to that here. So they say it's worth $8. I got it for $1. Good deal, for what it is. Let's look at what's in here first. What's in here? What is this? What is this? Nothing. It's just a little card. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's get all this crap out of the way, and we'll take a good look at Live an Abundant Life. Yeah, just making sure we're in frame. Okay. Joel Osteen, An Abundant Life. 8 ways to invite blessings into your world. Let's see. So, contents. Foreword, Chapter 1, I am blessed. Chapter 2, promise. The promise is in you. 30, Chapter 3, ask big. Anyway, let's just look. There's Joel Osteen and some lady, his wife, I guess. Victoria and Joel Osteen. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. When God laid out the plan for your life, he lined up... Oh, yeah. For a second, I thought that was a separate sentence, a new sentence. But no, it's just a pronoun referring to Yahweh. So they always capitalize it. He lined up the right people, the right circumstances, and the right breaks. Oh, that's for sure. Because the people he is really targeting are people connected, people who are rich and who know other rich people, and so it's very self-perpetuating. They will take care of their own and make sure that they have cushy jobs that they can't get fired from, that they can be as corrupt as they want to be. Anyway, in your future, he's already released favor, supernatural opportunities, divine connections. The breaks you need have already been prearranged to come across your path. Yeah. Wow, that's very, very clear. If you have a lot of money, it's because Yahweh gave it to you. He made all the opportunities happen. The invitation is there for you, and if you will stay in faith and go out each day and be a person of excellence, you will have experiences that feel as if you just walked into God's blessings. Like you just walked into them. So if you're poor, it means God hasn't arranged all that for you. And you're supposed to be poor. It's just, it's in God's plan for you. You know, the more I look at this, the more horrible this is. But it's not necessarily a con, but I'm still watching it. How did I land that new job? I'm not the most qualified, but I beat out 10 other people. That's a very good question. Maybe it's because you're white. I don't know. I didn't deserve that break, but they went out of their way to help me. Well, maybe that's because they're nice. No, it's because God. It's because Yahweh. I missed the street I was looking for and found our dream house with a for sale sign out front. Yeah, that happens. It's a coincidence. No, it's God. It's Yahweh. Things fell into place. Obstacles disappeared. What happened? You walked into God's blessings. They were already lined up. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to do anything because things will just work out for you. Isn't that convenient? Things just worked out for you. It's just God. It's not anything else. It's not anything to do with privilege. It has nothing to do with all the advantages you have in life that you were just born with, like being the right race, being born into the right tax bracket. No, it's God. In the Bible, Ruth went through serious heartache and pain as a young woman. Her husband was killed in a battle. When her mother-in-law, Naomi, was moving to a different city, Ruth decided to go with her and help take care of her. There was a great famine in the land. Food was scarce. Ruth went out into the fields every morning to glean wheat left by the reapers. That's how she and Naomi survived. So she stole wheat. So you can be a thief. You know what? That's very interesting. So they go to these rich people who maybe steal, in whatever way. And, if you do something that's a bit morally ambiguous, you can just chalk it up to, I'm just doing this to survive. I'm working for ICE and detaining babies so that I can survive. It's okay because I have to get a paycheck somehow, right? One day, Boaz, the owner of that field, came to visit. His workers told him about the young widow Ruth who picked up what the harvesters had missed. Here's what I want you to do. Drop handfuls of wheat on purpose for Ruth, Boaz told his workers. Well, that's nice of him. God must have told him to do that. When you walk into one of your favor blessing moments, people will go out of their way to be good to you. Many times they don't realize why they're doing it. It's simply because you stepped into a time of favor that God released into your future. So if nobody's helping you, it's because God's not favoring you. That's all. You don't have to feel bad. It's okay, because you're just not supposed to be happy and prosperous. I love the fact that Ruth was just minding her own business, being her best, being faithful. All of a sudden, she started seeing all this wheat lying in front of her. And yet, she didn't own her own field or anything. She was just allowed to scavenge more. Think about it. She doesn't have to struggle anymore. Well, she does if Boaz dies. Think about it. She doesn't have to struggle anymore. She doesn't have to search the field trying to find a little here and a little over there. All she has to do is pick up the wheat piles left for her. She doesn't have to work. No. And if you are rich and you have an inheritance, you don't have to worry. You don't have to work either. Wow, look at that. That's pretty telling right there. That is what is wrong with Christianity today. Everyone is all gathered together to worship this guy, to worship joelosteen.com. That's his name. His name is joelosteen.com. Because it's all about him. His face needs to be up there on the big screen. I guess they're Christians, but you wouldn't know it. It just looks like a big old rock concert or something. Let's see. Do I really want to read this whole thing, or do I want to just get through this? Let's just get through this. I think we get the gist of what he's saying here. He's saying that he is blessed because God chose him. And if you are blessed, it's because God chose you. Not because you're benefiting from systems that are stacked in your favor and against other people's favor. No, those people are just not chosen, and you are chosen. Chapter 1, I am blessed. Honor God with your life, keep him in first place, and he will place something on you called a commanded blessing. It attracts the right people, good breaks, contracts, ideas, resources, and influence. All you have to do is keep honoring God, and the right people will find you. Yeah, I bet the evangelical right love this guy. This is awful. Let's see. The military has what's called a heat-seeking missile. Okay. They program a target into the computer and fire the missile off, which can travel thousands of miles. The intended target can be flying in the air, zigzagging here and there, trying to lose it, but it doesn't have a chance. Well, it's got some chance. The heat-seeking missile follows it everywhere it goes. It eventually overtakes it and it accomplishes its I can't talk. Its purpose. In the same way, when you keep God in first place, he will find you and destroy you. That's what that's all about. We're not going to look at that anymore. Let's see. The things God has in your future are going to boggle your mind. And then we show a picture of the little starving kids in Africa. He knows about this stuff. He knows about all the bad stuff happening in the world. The promise is in you. So this is separated into chapters, which is what makes this a book. And it's a magazine because it is made very cheaply. Although nicely for a magazine, but cheaply for a book. You are talented. You are attractive. Well, you don't know that. I mean, yes, I am. But anyway. And you have been fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully made? What's fearful about me? You didn't get left out when God was handing out the gifts, the talents, or the looks. He put something in you that will cause you to shine. Yeah, okay. I don't even know what to say to that. This is just the same stuff as chapter 1. He's pumping up the egos of all the rich people who follow him. For many years, I cheered my father on. Daddy was my hero. When I was a little boy, we used to travel to different cities, and I'd see my father up on the platform, speaking to thousands of people. Oh, I guess this is Joel Osteen talking? Let's see. He was so warm and friendly. Everybody loved him. I was so proud that he was my father. In the back of my mind, I thought, I could never do that. He's so gifted. He's so talented. And I came back from college. After I came back from college, I worked for 17 years behind the scenes at the church with my parents, doing the television production. Week after week, I'd watch my father on the platform, ministering. I guess that's a verb now, ministering. Why not? Making a difference, doing something great. I did my best to make my father look good. I made sure the camera angles were just right and the lighting was just perfect. Because that's what matters, how you look, how you present yourself, I guess. I would even go over to his house on Saturday night and pick out a suit and tie for him to wear the next morning for television at the church services. As my father got older, people would ask, Joel, what's going to happen when your dad goes to be with the Lord? That's quite a euphemism for croaks. Who's going to pastor the church? I doubt they asked him that question. They just assumed it would be him. I would think. My father had never designated or trained a successor. What are you talking about? You just talked about how you learned everything you could about what he does. Over the 9 years, he tried many times to get me to minister. There we go. He was trying to train a successor anyway. Over the years, I didn't think that was in me. However, when he died in 1999, all of a sudden, I had a strong desire to get rich to be as rich as he is, basically. I'd never ministered or been to seminary, yet deep down, I heard a small voice saying, Joel, yeah, he hasn't learned about the Bible. Not that you necessarily learn about the Bible in seminary, but you learn how to use the Bible. Okay, I just turned on the fan, so hopefully there isn't like a hiss that's annoying you. God doesn't change his mind. Oh, so you can stop being a Christian once you get successful? Well, there's a lion. Don't be surprised by opposition. Well, yeah, because everyone deals with opposition in their lives. It's sort of the nature of life. The good news is the forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. Oh, that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. It depends. It really depends what you're trying to do. You're going to accomplish more than you thought possible. You're going to go further than you dreamed. You're going to see the exceeding greatness of God's power. So, yeah, you're going to be all... Yeah, this is all... So, it's very motivational. He's kind of saying the same thing over and over again here. I am. What follows those two simple words will determine what kind of life you live. The I ams coming out of your mouth will bring either success or failure. Many times we wield the power of I am against ourselves. We don't realize how it's affecting our future. So this is a little bit like The Secret. And there is something to thinking positively. Just having a better attitude will help you, obviously. I am blessed, strong, talented, wise, disciplined, focused, prosperous. Now, yeah, I agree with this to a point. If you have confidence in your own abilities, and if you actually have those abilities, because there's the Dunning-Kruger effect where people tend to have, and people with the most confidence seem to have the least to back it up. But, yeah, if you sell yourself right, other people will buy you, and they'll believe you are what you say you are. Chapter 3, ask big. Wow. So be greedy. That's how I interpret that. If you go through life praying only barely getting by prayers, you'll miss the fullness of your destiny. What if you try to fit a camel through the eye of a needle? How well will that work out for you? Jesus pretty much said you got to be poor to get to heaven. But, the prosperity gospel preachers don't believe that. Today is your birthday. No, they, you are my son, today is your birthday, what do you want? Psalm 2 from the Message translation. Now, the early Christians did not celebrate birthdays. That was a pagan thing. They were against doing anything pagans did. So, the idea of the Bible talking about celebrating birthdays, I don't think so. Stand out and make a difference. But I know the message is try to get as much as you can. Have an abundant mentality. Yeah, this is more positive thinking stuff. Wow. God wants you to overflow with his goodness. Then why doesn't he just do it? Why doesn't he just make everybody happy? Why do so many people have to be miserable in order for God to be glorified? You'd think having a perfect world where everybody is happy, something certainly within an omnipotent being's power, would be better for him, would result in more people thanking him, more people glorifying him. Keep being faithful right where you are, honoring God, thanking him that you're coming into overflow. I think Joel Osteen is one of these people who puts himself in for God. So he's saying, keep buying my merchandise, keep listening to my motivational speeches, and attribute your success to that. But I don't know. You are not going to bankrupt heaven by believing for an abundant life. Well, yeah, because the worldly world is supposed to be separate from heaven. And you're supposed to be more focused on building up your treasures in heaven by sort of eschewing the treasures of the world. Like the whole, what does it profit a man that he may gain the whole world and lose his soul? I forget where that is exactly, but I know it. I know the quote. He's being very inconsistent here. And here I am. If you think about it, an atheist is in the perfect position to challenge this guy on his interpretation of Scripture. because we know it better than he does. He may not have gone to seminary, but we are obsessed with religion. Don't talk about the problem. Talk about the promise. Yeah, more positive thinking. Garbage. Commit to excellence. Not that positive thinking is garbage, just that the promise, not the promise, the secret is garbage. And if you don't know what the secret is, I recommend you look it up. When you're a person of excellence, you do more than necessary. You don't just meet the minimum requirements. Yeah, you don't just have the minimum number pieces of flair on your, what was the name of that restaurant? On your restaurant uniform. No, you go above and beyond. Excellence is doing the right thing even when nobody can see you. Even when you don't think it's necessary. Even when you don't agree. Even when you don't agree. You gave your word, so live up to it. No, you got to be true to yourself. If something doesn't feel right, you should explore that and maybe act on it. Don't let something small keep you from big things God wants to do. You are called to be a cut above. You have excellence on a cut above what? Non-believers? Here's a obviously very privileged lady. She's got money. She's got money for nice shoes, nice clothes. Her hair's all clean. You know, this is not for poor people. Redeem the time. We have a responsibility to use our time wisely. We're not always going to be here. This day is a gift. Are you living it to the fullest? With purpose and passion? Pursuing your dreams? Just like you spend money, you are spending your life. You are either investing it or you're wasting it. Yeah, well, that's kind of true. So don't waste your time and money on prosperity gospel, but the people who are really into it are already prosperous. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. But I thought this whole thing was about making more money and wishing for more money. Scripture tells us to redeem the time. That means don't waste it. Yeah, let's see. There's a lady pruning some wheat or something. I don't know what she's doing exactly. Start thanking God that He's in control. Thank Him the new doors are opening. Thank Him favors coming your way. Thank Him for making you so darn special. More special than all the other people out there who don't have as much as you do. The amount of stuff a person has determines how much Yahweh loves them and how good of a person they are. It's just a fact. Be comfortable with who you are. One of the best things I've ever learned is to be comfortable with who God made me to be. Even if you're gay. I wonder what Joel Osteen's stance is on homosexuality. He probably is very careful not to talk about it. I don't have to outperform anyone to feel good about myself. Oh, but this whole thing is about being better than other people. There's nothing wrong with titles, but you don't need a title to do what God has called you to do. Well, if He's called you to be president, then you need to be president. And a lot of evangelicals think that Yahweh has called Donald Trump to be president, which kind of proves that whole thing wrong. You may not touch the world directly, but your child may change the world. Your assignment may be to help your seed go further. Well, don't even worry about touching the world or changing the world. Just be happy. Just try to live a good and happy life. That's my personal advice to everybody. I used to be worried about wanting to become somebody famous, wanting to spread some great message. Not that I knew what that message might have been. But I wanted to be up there with Einstein and all them, and I had dreams, delusions, maybe you could say. And when happiness finally found me in my life, it had nothing to do with all that. It was just personal fulfillment and making a few other people in my life happy. Just try to spread happiness. That's all you have to do to be happy. True religion doesn't judge people to see if they deserve our help. No, it judges people. It sees if they've already been helped and then judges them. Just remember, None of us like difficulties. Some of us do. Some of us see them as opportunities. I don't know. I guess we don't enjoy difficulties. However, these challenges not only prepared you for your future, now you have a history with God. I don't have a history with God. When you're in a tough time and you don't see a way out, instead of being discouraged and negative, you can go back and remember how God turned your health around. Remember how he protected you, promoted you, healed you, and restored you. I don't remember anything like that. When you remember how God has protected you, promoted you, healed you, and restored your faith, it will rise in your heart, actually in your brain, because your heart's not where thoughts live. Let's see. What you don't even know about. Yeah, I can't go through and read this whole thing for you, because then this will be a very long video. I just wanted to go over this and make some snarky comments, apparently. Don't let what once was a miracle become ordinary. Don't lose the awe of what God has done. I'm really not trying to be negative about all this, but I see this message and I just don't like Joel Osteen. You know? Not a fan. Especially after Harvey. I live in Houston. I saw the floods. There were parts of my neighborhood flooded. My house was fine. Thank goodness. Thank Ra. But there were houses in my neighborhood that got flooded out. So, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I remember how some people stood up. Mattress Mac of Gallery Furniture stepped up. He helped a lot of people. Joel Osteen only helped when he was forced to, when his arm was twisted. Until then, he made excuses for not opening his church up. He is not a good person. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but he's not a good person. Not at all. So, that's my goodies from Joel Osteen. This is what $1 got me. Go out and get your own. Really, don't need $1. It probably costs him more than that to make this and to send it out. Get your own Abundant Life bookazine. And check it out for yourself. All right. See you next time.